Hello, I'm Steve Miller, Director here at the Animal Genetics and Breeding Unit here in Armidale on the UNE campus. And today we're going to talk about some changes coming up for the TACE evaluation. And as a breeder, you might be asking, well, why is the TACE evaluation changing? And what's the benefits for you? And the changes coming up are to do with changes in the genetic parameters and the adjustment factors that go into the evaluation. And the reason that these things should change is because over time, the cattle that you're breeding change. When you think about your making selection progress, and the cattle today are bigger, faster growing with more marbling, and all those reasons are some of the reasons behind why those adjustment factors and parameters and things behind the evaluation need to change. Also, there's some traits that are relatively new in Angus, and now there's a lot more data than there was available when the parameters were originally estimated for those traits. So now with more data, we should try and do a better job, and we can be more accurate in estimating those parameters. So a good example of that is retail beef yield. And today, with this most recent analysis, there's close to twice as many records, for example, on retail beef yield. So we can do a better job of estimating those parameters. So the parameters we're talking about are heritabilities, genetic correlations, adjustment factors. What's heritability? How much of the variation from animal to animal is actually due to genetics? So, how much can we influence the progeny due to parent selection? Genetic correlations between traits. The TACE evaluation, the core of that is it's a very large matrix of all the traits together. And, what's the genetic correlation between each of the traits is really important, because we're often trying to predict an important outcome trait, say carcass marbling, but you've got a scan trait on an animal, and it's the genetic correlation between those that matters. And finally, adjustment factors. Our traits are typically at a constant age or a constant weight, and we need the factors, because all the animals aren't measured at a constant age or constant weight, so we need to accurately adjust from one age or one weight to another. So I look at your genetic evaluation, and the analogy I like to use is back to tuning a car. So today you've got a genetic evaluation that's running, and it's got those parameters are in there as they are today. That evaluation would still run, and you could continue with the same evaluation for time going forward, but it wouldn't be the right thing to do, because it wouldn't be as accurate as it could be. And when I think about a car engine, there's a number of systems that come together, so that engine runs optimally, basically. And people today, aren't that familiar with tuning a car engine, because with electronic fuel injection and electronic ignitions and things, these things really don't change over time. In the old days, in the 1970s and 60s, those things actually, as the engine wore, the timing changed. And so you needed to constantly kind of tune the engine. And you would go in and you would adjust the spark plug gaps, and you would adjust the timing of the engine, when that spark occurred relative to the top dead center on where the piston sits on the engine. And you would adjust the fuel air mixture, and you go into the carburetor and you adjust the low speed mixture and the high speed mixture. And you would do this on a regular basis to keep the engine running in an optimal way. You wouldn't have to do that. You could not tune up your engine and it would still go down the road, but it just wouldn't be as optimal as it could be in terms of power and in terms of efficiency. It's the same with the genetic evaluation. We could just leave it as is, but we know it wouldn't be as accurate as it could be. And it's all about accuracy, because we want the EBVs that you see, that you make your decisions on and to breed your cattle, you want them to be as accurate as they can be, so that you've got confidence as breeders to put that selection pressure and confidently sell and buy your animals with the most accurate information. So this piece of work has actually been a considerable body of work over a number of months, and it's been done by the team here in the AgBoo building. And I think Angus breeders are quite fortunate, because the team here actually has a lot of experience in doing this type of thing, and they've done it many times for different breeds and different species even. And around the world, that expertise isn't that common. And so we're really fortunate here in Australia to have the team that we do basically being the technicians behind your genetic evaluation. Just like you wouldn't necessarily want to turn tuning your engine over to just any mechanic in the shop. You want to have the best mechanic that you can, a person that's got the experience, that knows how these things run, and that's exactly what you have in terms of the recent updates to the genetic evaluation here for Angus. And I'll call out one. It's been a team effort, but certainly the one scientist has put in most of the work is Dr. Gilbert J. Rubin, who's been here at AGBU for a long time. And he's got a lot of experience with the data and with the models. And so that's really been months of large data sets on large computers, and all that's been funded through Meat and Livestock Australia, which is great for Angus breeders. So I'd like to wrap it up with, you will see changes in the EBVs, but to keep in mind that there's a reason behind it, and that is the changes that have been made. You can consider it like ongoing maintenance, but the evaluations that you have today are as accurate as they can be given the current data.